Welcome to the first episode of Disruption in Real Time, brought to you by the Disruption Lab, powered by Geese College of Business, and the Siebel Center for Design at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. I'm your host, Samuel Chen, director of the Disruption Lab, where we focus on fostering innovation and exploring how emerging technologies are transforming industries. We're recording this session here in the media studio at Siebel Center for Design. SCD uses human-centered design principles to tackle complex problems, working closely with innovators across campus and beyond. Today we'll be diving into how artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things are reshaping public safety, along with the challenges and opportunities that come with these technologies. I'm thrilled to introduce our guest, Revathi Pillai, Senior VP and Chief Engineering Officer at Mutualink. With over 25 years of experience in tech, Revathi has led engineering teams at the forefront of disruptive technologies like AI and IoT, which Mutualink uses to enhance communication and response times in public safety. Her insights into the future of these technologies are invaluable, and we're excited to learn from her expertise.
Hello, I'm Revathi Pillai, and really absolute pleasure to be here talking to all of you, especially in the people in the D Lab, where innovation and forward thinking is the core. As Sam said, I'm in tech for a few years and an entrepreneur and somebody who likes to empower people from diverse community. I'm really happy to be here and looking at all these intelligent, brilliant faces. So I'm looking forward to start this conversation. Thank you for having me here.
Wonderful, thank you. We also want to give a special thanks to the students from the Disruption Lab who have submitted questions for today's discussion. We'll dive into those throughout our conversation. Revathi, thank you for joining us today. Let's start by talking about disruptive technologies. First topic could be disruptive innovation and security. Mutualink plays a significant role in community security using technologies like IoT and AI. How do you see these technologies transforming public safety in the next decade?
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to explain what Mutualink does. Mutualink is a company which creates a platform that enables real-time interoperability and the emergency response coordination. And through our platform, all the different agencies, if you know agencies, for example, fire or police, they have their own technology to communicate, but those technologies communicate within them. It doesn't go across the agencies. So interoperability with the different agencies doesn't really exist. Even radios, if the fire radio cannot really, talk to police radio. So there is completely siloed. So what our company does is really breaking down the interagency, the silos between the agencies for emergency response. So what our platform does is we do real-time video, audio, and text communication within anybody who is be responding to an emergency. So for example, unfortunately, we live in a time where there is a lot of school shifting and things like this happen. So most of the school has panic button. So we work with the technology which is already in facilities in schools. For panic button, most schools has panic button, and most schools have cameras. So, but we work with whatever you have, we integrate technology through that. So when a panic button press happens, what happens is, if you have our platform, it opens up with a map showing that, okay, this is where the emergency is happening. And then if it is a building with multiple floors, floor plan will come up saying that, okay, this is the second floor at this places where the panic button press happened. And it's a pre-configured 4 cameras. If you have 4 cameras in the vicinity, you can pre-configure. It will come up and start streaming video. So anybody who is part of this emergency coordination is seeing real-time video. And everybody in this response coordination team, doesn't matter whether they have a radio from a fire, or they can even communicate using their mobile phone. And they all can talk to each other and discuss what is going on. Look at the cameras, what is going on. If there is other cameras, we can actually open that up also to see what is going on. And can send text, chat. Text means, okay, said, okay, look out for this person, send the picture. Or this is the escape route. So things like that, you can communicate to everyone. And this so far what I said is about the people who has Mutualink licenses to work on. And if you look at the map, even if you are inviting, okay, 10 people to respond, through the map you can see that who else who has licenses available in the vicinity. You can drag and basically drop that resource to this incident, and they can communicate, they can log in, and they can be part of this response team. And even if you don't have a Mutualink license, but you want to invite somebody without license to participate. For example, if there is an emergency response happens like state, and you want to bring in FBI to this, we have a feature that you can send an email with a guest link that whoever you're sending can call, and we'll give the credentials in real time and call in, and they can look at the same incident, what is going on real time, wherever you are sitting, and looking at and give them instructions what to do. So this is basically disrupting how emergency communication or emergency response team is working at this point. And it's a very powerful tool. And even recently, you have the Hurricane Milton. There are 37 different federal agencies and local agencies worked together to respond to that emergency using our platform. So it's a very powerful and very useful because it's real time. You are seeing radio, video, everything. So it's easy for people to have a cohesive way of responding to the emergency. Mm-hmm. So we do have, we can have predictive video, or video analytics, mm-hmm. and we have many proof of concepts, things for IoT, for example, even in the COVID time, you can look at in the sports arena, in a kiosk, how many people are going to be there, all those count, things like that. But in the real emergency response at this point, AI is not being used because this is an industry, or this is a field where it has to be foolproof. There is no room for any false positive because the response coordination is very expensive, and we cannot dilute the intensity or in the response because it's happening too many times, and if it is false, and we cannot do that. So it's always there is a manual intervention happens right now, but if you have video, a lot of video, we can use the AI to go through that and look through things and get this thing speed up for later analysis. But in the real time, even if we have the technology, even if I don't think I should say market, but the field we are working on is ready for it. So
on the predictive side.
Predictive side, we can do it, or even when we get a trigger, mm-hmm. we cannot just automatically go and do a incident. It's always good need to have a manual intervention to make sure that's a real emergency.
Right. That's like the human in the loop in
we need to
real
at
case.
This point, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we have IoT for the sensors for the gas leak, mm-hmm. or whatever. We have all those technology, but mm-hmm. we are not right now. We are using we can use to alert it, but not to bring it into emergency response. Alert is something different. The facility management kind of alert that we can use, but for right now, what we are doing in the emergency response, I don't think the customer is ready for it to have that kind of risk.
Yeah, still stay more like reactive
Re-
in that sense, but
Yeah.
perhaps faster.
Yeah,
Right.
we can have predictive things or even look at detect things, and alert, but we cannot go and react to it unless there's human intervention.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So IoT part, I guess we all understand because you have multiple sensors, doesn't matter pressure, temperature.
Yeah.
The AI portion is a little bit more reserved, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but you have plans and the platform ready for it.
Yes, and we can, detection, all those things we can do, but incorporating that with the response is not ready.
Right,
Yeah,
to implement it.
we cannot do that right now because human intervention is needed to avoid false positives.
Right, right. Yeah, perfect. Well, let me move on to the next question. It's about emerging technologies and smart cities. So smart cities are becoming a reality worldwide. What challenges do you foresee in integrating disruptive technologies like AI and IoT to ensure both efficiency and security in these cities?
Yeah, security is a big issue because if everybody has an IoT device and going to stream to the mainstream, we need to make sure that it's secure. And when there is millions of devices that is connected, it is a daunting thing to do. And so having predictive detection, security at that is very important. Otherwise, not one person or few people can do that. So that's where AI can play a bigger role, actually.
Right.
And the other challenges, there are a few challenges, right, to the smart cities. And we know that there's a lot of planning for the AI is for the happening. The AI models are only as good as the data what we train. So we need to make sure this data what we are giving is not in any way biased, like a race is so or socioeconomic or anything like that. And for that, we need to have all the new laws and regulations. Now, so we all know when a new technology comes, right, all the companies will jump in and be creative products, and people are really willing to adopt it faster too. But government and the regulation is lagging way behind. So if we have to go to with AI and IoT for the smart cities, we need to have pretty adaptive regulatory frameworks, and we cannot lag behind. And the bias is one of the major things because that creates trust. If we are saying that if AI is doing this, general public needs to trust it. To trust that, we need to have very transparent AI algorithms and all those things. So it's a lot of work needs to be done to make it comfortable to all the population.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that answer. I think one of the things we've mentioned before the official recording started was that a colleague of mine is developing that 100-some acre land in DC, and they want to build smart city. But I think the definition of smart city is still loose.
Yeah.
Perhaps if I can backtrack a little bit, just to ask you, what does smart city mean to you? So for example, the colleague of mine has mentioned they don't want to build a city like what Google did, where all these cameras are recording people everywhere and every second. So what's your interpretation of smart city, and what do you foresee if you could build a smart city yourself? What do you think it will be?
Yeah, for me, I'm a communications person and infrastructure person. So making sure that all the infrastructure is self-healing and detect things in advance, and go and should be able to detect and make sure that all the threat is taken care of even before anything happens. That kind of smartness is what I'm looking for in a smart city. It is not that whether somebody is sleeping 10 hours or it is a very different,
Wake them up,
Yeah. For me, it's my way of thinking is, make sure that everybody's life is more smoother. So all the infrastructure is taken, because we hear a lot about the electricity rollout,
Right.
what is blackout, things
yeah.
like that. Avoid all those stuff. That's what smart city means to me.
Interesting. Right.
So for that, we need actually the infrastructure is a big thing. 5G is good, but if you are talking about millions of devices doing lot of different things, that'll be another challenge for infrastructure to be there for all those things.
Right. I think that's a very positive and productive way to think of smart city. Like it's not like this a lot of the sci-fi movie painted picture of this doom kind of a thing. Yeah, and I appreciate that. Another question submitted here is navigating constant change. With over 25 years experience in tech industry, how have you adapted to constant disruption and innovation? Can you share an instance where you had to pivot your strategy or mindset to stay ahead?
First of all, understanding that change is the only constant, whether it is career or life. First thing, once you understand that, it's okay, things can, you can navigate a lot of things. Yeah, and especially when you talk about tech change, like technology change, it's constant change happens. And we need to make sure that we keep updated with that. We have to make sure we are keeping up to date with the new technologies coming out, and go to conferences, create a network of people whom we can talk and discuss things, and to stay current. Because when you are in school, it's easy because you are learning everything that is emerging. But when you are in work, when you are in one industry or in one job, you are used to some technology for that, but very easy to ignore or won't have time to get into new. So don't fall into that trap. You need to update yourself with everything that is coming up. So that is very important. You asked whether we need to pivot because of change. One of the companies I worked was in broadband over power line business. Came to realize that broadband over power line is a very cool technology, but doesn't work overhead. Underground communication works, but overhead a lot of disruption because a lot of other interruptions. And so as a company, when you realize that the technology is not good enough to just go ahead, we switch to smart grid communications. So smart grid communications is one of the very first things of IoT. The term IoT, I don't think it was coined at that time. So what we did is to create basically IoT to manage all the critical infrastructure in utility. So that is, with the company, the whole strategy, whole product was changed, because we realized that that's where the technology is going, that's where the need is, and of course that's where the funding is. Money talks, so we switched to that, completely change in direction.
How long did that take to complete the pivot?
Oh, we were very impressively very good. Actually, we have a product out in the market within 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And that is not just the third generation of the product went. And it was a very successful product, and we were pioneers in that. Talk about disruptive technology, pioneers in the field, because that completely changed how you go and read your utility bills, like a gas, electric. Before it was you have to have somebody go there and read it, right?
Yeah, the meter guys.
Yes, and this is all became remote with different technologies. And especially in towns like here in College Town, when you guys move out in every 9 months, right? Think about if you're renting something outside, the person has to go read and things like that. So actually there was a study that came out from Ohio after we deployed our technology, how much time and money it was saving because everything is remote. So it completely changed how, and another thing is it completely changed how you use electricity in your home, because that came out the different ways of billing system. Like if you're using it in the peak hour, the billing is different and things like that. That all came out of what we did.
That's amazing, yeah.
So it changed how we think about, how we use technology, and how we read meter reading.
Personally, I'm kind of receiving the benefit of that, because then you can tune your usage to be off peak, Otherwise, you don't even know what peak is, right? Nobody will tell you, and now it's just on the bill.
Yeah.
In that topic, I think one thing I'm curious, just from a disruption lab point of view, because we work on so many technologies, how do you keep your team current, and how do you communicate that knowledge? Just because one person went to a conference, now we have 10 people going to different conferences, how do they come back and integrate that knowledge within the organization?
First of all, in my all the teams I have, I try to create an innovation mindset for the people. That means they are not scared of anything new. They are not scared of anything ambiguous, because innovation and any new technology is ambiguous because you don't know, not many people know everything, right? So making sure that it's okay. You don't need to know everything, but you should have the mindset to learn, constant learning, to update and things like that. And when people go to conferences and things like that, we have lunch and learn. They will come and talk about all these things happen. Some people are interested, some people are not interested, but they always give an opportunity for people to learn what new is coming up. And then you can have courses. Some of the technology will have course, like if you have 10 people, you'll get a special deal and things like that. We can bring that in. And those are the kind of things, especially the mindset is the main thing. It's okay. A new thing comes, it's fine. And you might be putting a lot of effort to do something, and you may have to pivot based on what is coming next or what is high priority, things like that. Keep an open mind. That's what I say to my team, because that you will get attached to something, but you can create a product, a Cadillac of product or whatever, but if that's not customer wants, it doesn't matter. So be ready to change, be ready to innovate based on the customer feedback and based on how technology is moving. So it is having an open mind, so you can adapt and pivot.
Yeah,
So.
have that value system instilled in people's mind first and set the direction that way.
Yeah.
Do you let the team innovate? Like, say you have a brand new set of tech, say the predictive side of the response. Do you let them develop on their own in a separate place and then bring it back, or how do you manage this? Or is it like, say, within the same campus to do the different type of work?
I have done both models.
Okay.
Before.
Which one's better, you think?
It depends. Let me put it that way, because I have done, and when the IoT side, when I gave the platform what we have for the smart grid communications. I worked with connected with many universities, and gave the platform to them. Say, do a hackathon.
Interesting.
Come back and tell me what you can do, what you need to do for this application. So that worked very well. It came out with so many cool cool applications. Actually, from one of the universities in Brazil, they come up with an application to detect, the log, cutting Amazon, the forest, logging sound, and using LoRaWAN to inform people, hey, there is. So it's like a lot of applications which you don't think of come out. And I was talking to you before about an application where you can detect power theft in smart grid things. So that also came through that kind of hackathon things. So I did that. So then choose about, okay, what works with our ROI, all those business, the business people will look at the ROI and see that whether we need to productize it. So we did that. And in current company, I have an innovation team separate. There's an innovation team which creates, go ahead and look at what's a new technology. They are the ones who is looking a lot of things with AI and what we can integrate, how we can partner with companies. We don't have to create everything. So what are the right partners when we can partner with? So things like that. So once they have the proof of concept, again, business people will tell us, hey, should we move forward or thing? So if that, then we'll productize it.
Yeah, perfect. here's the time to, sounds like the root of innovation still lies with the students and the hackathons. So
They do, they're brilliant.
yeah, don't forget us. Here's another plug. Yeah, that's perfect. Maybe it's time to move on to a different segment of our conversation on leadership and innovation. As a leader of overseeing engineering teams, how do you foster innovation and encourage your team to embrace disruption rather than fear it, which I think you have touched upon it,
Yeah.
is more like that value system.
Yes.
So the question, perhaps I'm going to tweak a little bit here, is, there are these old guards of any organization. And seems to me there's always resistance to change. And this managing up and managing down type of style, how do you deal with that type of resistance? Or have you ever encountered that?
Yes. In the last 2 jobs, actually, I was brought in to bring in transformational change, in not just in engineering, in organization. So the last 2 example, in one of them, people didn't want to change. Another example, people want to change. So how you navigate 2 differently. I can give you an example of that people didn't want to change because this particular company I was working on, they have an amazing technology, their IP, there was no competition. They are in alarm communications. They have their own RF mesh technology, which is long range. Usually RF mesh is very few yards. This is like between each link it is 2 to 5 miles.
Oh, wow.
So it's like there's no competition.
Right.
And they're sitting on this doing alarm communication for decades. When I was evaluating that company, I saw that technology, I said, oh my God, this is amazing technology, can use in so many different things. For example, smart cities, right? The bandwidth is less, but at least detection, long range detection for anything. So it's a lot of potential to use in so many different things.
Right.
So before I joined, I spoke to the CEO that, hey, I like this, I want to join, but you have to give me freedom to take it in different verticals. And he was excited about it, so joined, but realized that engineering team was very happy with whatever they do, and because they're a very successful company, why you want to change. But the upper management wanted to bring change because of where we are going. So I asked people, to join, just come up with a proof of concept, who wants to join that team. Nobody wanted to join.
Oh, wow, nobody.
Yeah, there are people who wanted to join, but they don't want to.
Yeah, let's not stand out. Yeah, right.
Come on. So I had to get people from outside. I brought in some consultants to do the proof of concept, took it to a conference in Las Vegas. And these people are seeing only this alarm communication from this company. So I did some 3D printing for a box, bright blue. And because they are seeing only gray and red, so this is bright blue and a different form factor, but use the same hardware to do. So I could see people walking in the conference, and they take a double, oh, what is that there? They will come and this was, what I did is use the same technology, a product for facility management. So like, humidity, things like that, you can control. So it is very close to the adjacent market, right? So I did that by talking to salespeople to say that, okay, if I make a new product, which is the market you want to get into, easy to sell.
Right.
So smart city, they don't have much, but alarm, they are already in the building. So it's easy for the facility management to sell it. So that's how I came to that, okay, this is what we want to go. So this is completely consultant. So went to this conference, so then I asked the sales team. They know how to sell, right? I'm an engineer, I cannot sell anything. So they came and said, can you talk to the company? They came, they did their selling, say that how excited how successful the demo was, how successful the product is, how much customers are interested. I had a huge line in front of my office.
Oh, that's
who
amazing.
wants to know, want to join, and my admin is asking, should I let them in.
No, too late. They cannot come in.
So after that, they took over. We launched it, and one of the big companies came, and two weeks after that conference, they came to our office to say they want to OEM it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That's a huge success.
success, but it took success for people to
That's
buy
right.
in
That's
to
right.
that change.
Yeah.
And getting the real salespeople to sell it to them. So that was the toughest thing to navigate the change.
Somewhat of a gamble, would you say, though, on your personal side? I mean, you have to bet on that vertical market being.
It's a gamble. It's a risk. Yeah, you have to take risk to do anything like out of comfort. So you have to. But
Right.
I had my backing from my CEO because I talked to him before I joined.
Right, gotcha.
That this is what I want to do. So they knew exactly where I'm going. How to get there was the toughest thing, but they knew. So that's how I did a change there. Yeah.
Wow. Love it. Love it. That's a fantastic, great mindset for the students, to learn and keep in mind moving forward in their career.
Yeah.
Maybe not take too much risk. Calculated risk, perhaps.
Calculated risk. Not a completely calculated, because I took that risk because I had the backing, because I set the stage for that.
Right.
So another thing is we already have successful product. So this is not going to take away anything from the company or jeopardize it in any way. But it's a good gamble to take because the technology is there, the market is there. So why not?
Right,
So-
right. And also takes knowing, like you already know that market, did your research, you understand that
Yeah,
market better,
yes,
right?
yeah.
Perfect.
The $60 billion market.
Right.
Get in there.
It's all rewards, no risk in a
Yeah.
sense, right? All right, we'll move on to the next question that has to do with building confidence in the unknown. For students and young professionals entering a dynamic and unpredictable field, what advice can you give for building confidence when navigating disruption and uncertainty?
Keep an open mind. And there's uncertainty or things like that, any challenge, right? Don't get discouraged. Take it as an opportunity to grow. And I know that most of you experience that when there is something really tough you have to do, you struggle, and then once you have done, you feel that, now I can do anything. That is the confidence that comes only through getting through challenges. Otherwise, you don't know, because if you are going status quo, it's status quo. There is nothing, the confidence doesn't come with that, because you need to do something to push the envelope, or any challenge, right? One thing I can say that when huge challenge comes, don't get discouraged. Make it into small tasks, because when you do small tasks and do it, you see progress, and basically celebrate every small win. That's how you build confidence. That's how you can do big things. That's what I can say, because it's very difficult otherwise. If you say, oh my God, how am I going to do this big thing, that will be discouraging. Another thing from my experience, what I can tell you is that it may be different than what you were told before. Don't strive for perfection. Strive for progress. Because if you strive for perfection, you'll get very frustrated. Things won't move forward. But if you really look for progress, do that, it will give you a lot of confidence. And we are all human, right? Things are not going to be perfect all the time. We make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes, small mistakes, not big ones. But I tell my kids, we make mistakes, but it is not that what defines us. How we overcome and come back, that's what decides your success. Well, it's not just in career, even in life. How you overcome your mistake, how you learn from it. And another thing is, even if you have a tough project or tough whatever, there can be success and there can be difficulty. but take that an opportunity to learn, because you learn from everything, not just success. Basically, success doesn't teach you much.
Right.
So now don't get discouraged with any setback. Be resilient. Now, if I think about resilience, it's more like a muscle, right? You have to keep on building it. So for that, I would say just get out of your comfort zone. And ambiguity, you can deal with ambiguity only through open-mindedness, even willingness to learn new things, pivot. And I think that's what I tell my team. I'm just saying the same thing. Yeah, because you are not really stuck on anything. Something new comes, something uncertainty comes, that's fine. I say, and try to get a good team of people around you to support you, so you can lean on or discuss and to move forward.
So you learn through failures, really.
We learn more through failures.
So I'm going to turn the question harder. Do you want to share maybe one failure experience from your personal, maybe career things? Not too big, okay, but not too small either. That's something that you think it's something we can learn from.
Good question. Where I failed. I usually don't fail.
Oh, wow. Round of applause.
Yeah, like especially when we do innovation, not everything what you do is going to succeed. Not going to. And there are things you spend time, spend resource to develop something, and that may not work. And I have many projects so I'm not going to any specific project, but that's part of innovation, I think, because you don't know, you spend time to innovate or come up with new products or whatever, and that may not be successful, or that may not be what customer wants. And usually a lot of times that happens. You think that, okay, it's a great thing to do, and the customer will love it. If we have that, customer is going to come and get it. May not. So that happened with innovation projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things we all experience. Perhaps it is a kind of a biased self-selection process where a lot of innovative minds come together, and then we think this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But people are not ready, right?
Yeah.
Customers are not ready. Perhaps the use case isn't exactly proven out there. So it is something we can all think deeper about, you know. So having a business-minded, integrated approach perhaps is the thing that we can keep in mind.
Even that, right, when we first do innovation, business may not be involved, business people. Once we have a proof of concept things, so that means we already spent time and effort on something that is not going to be successful. That's what I meant by, it's not a failure, it's again, you learn from it, but still, it is not ideal thing to do. So, yeah.
Very interesting. Let's talk about mentorship and leadership. Can you share some of the key mentors who helped shape your leadership journey? How important is mentorship in today's tech industry, particularly for those in emerging fields?
Mentorship is very, very important. My main mentors was actually who was my colleague and then became my manager. Actually, he supported me very well to come up, and actually they were asking me to move to management for a long time, but I didn't, because that story is that I started my first job. I graduated when I was 7 months pregnant. My graduation was on May 11th. My daughter was born on May 23rd.
Oh, wow.
So I missed my graduation because nobody gives me a ticket to go to.
Right.
So I started working in March, though, 2 months early. So it is, you don't have much time to make career decisions or anything. You just move with whatever you have. So if you have and even at that time, I got a lot of flexibility from the company. You won't believe that it is long time back, and company let me work 4 days from home
Wow.
at that time. And you guys ever heard of something called a modem? That was what we are using to get connectivity. And they even used to pay the monthly fee for the modem, so that I can work. Imagine I'm a college hire. I'm not somebody who is very experienced, but they gave me that flexibility.
That's amazing.
So I think that in that management, right, they gave me an opportunity to work. I have working 4 days from home, and I have time like when they need to have meetings in between, they will ask, when is your daughter's nap time?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I used to take her, and she used to sit and sleep in the car seat in the corner and have the meeting and come back. I don't know whether that's not mentors, but they are the people who makes people, space for people like me to succeed, come up. So I think them as big time supporters. But then later in my career, when people asked me to move to management, I didn't, because if I move to management, as you know, you're responsible for many people. And with little ones at home, you cannot do that much. So I thought if I'm individual contributor, I can have control of what I have to do. So I can work, late at night. I'm not responsible for others because I don't have time. So, but this particular manager told me that there are a lot of good engineers, but there's not a lot of good engineers who can be managers, and you are one of them, you have to. And they basically pushed me, and he gave me an opportunity to move to management. And I learned a lot from actually that particular person, because even when I was a lead, when there are people who said that, oh, I'm going to finish this project now, I believe that they are going to finish the project at that time. But I'm so naive. The dates are moving. I'm still believing in that person. So one fine morning, my manager moved that person from that project, and I was very upset. So I went to him, how can you do that? And he said, this person is doing it to you for this long. What make you think that next deadline is going to happen?
Right.
And made me think that's true. Because at that time, I never thought of that length. Things like that, when they make you think, okay, how you handle it. So make you grow that way.
Right.
And giving an opportunity to move up to management, all those things. And then any time I need advice, I used to go to few people, and they have few colleagues, the peers, who was very supportive. That helped also. So there are mentors like that. And one of the things I want to bring up is mentors is not just in the beginning of the career. It's all through the career. I don't know whether you heard about executive women networks, because a lot of executive women, you don't have that much support at the top, and especially when you move to C-suite, there is
right.
not much in a.
Very lonely.
I didn't want to use that word, yes. Yeah. And especially in engineering, there's not that many. And there is an executive women's network in which I was part of. I was the founder of that chapter, chief, in Boston. And we have a core team of 6, 7 women, all executives, all VP and above, from multiple, marketing, the pharmaceutical. So it's like very diverse group. And we started, as a core, we started meeting and become basically a tribe. We can lean on to each other. We can bring a problem and we can discuss, no judgments on, and we'll come up with brainstorm some ideas. That helped all of us grow big time in how to deal with things in the company, or even in personal life, anything. And if one of them lost job, and if they're looking for a job and there's an interview, they say, okay, I have an interview. We all get on Zoom and do mock interviews. So that kind of support structure is so important for growth. So you need to find your own tribe. That will help you to grow immensely. So I really advise you to find that.
Yeah, surround yourself with the right people.
Right people.
Yeah, and the good people, that really push you
Yeah.
to the next level.
Yeah.
And similarly, you can get dragged down by, the wrong people too, right?
Good
So,
people.
Yeah,
You
the
need
good
to find
people.
the right people to support you.
So how did you find, like, would you say perhaps starting from even college and all the way, and in each phase of your career, what are some of these ways perhaps do you think for our students to learn to find the right people? Is it through, well, of course there's a plug again, disruption lab, perhaps, or a SED, right? But when you get into the professional world, it's my personal experience is a little hard, right? Because you're doing that one thing that's so specialized. How do you find the right people to support you? Is it through like conferences or through like different online communities?
For me, it was community. It's not through conference. Conference, you meet people, but people will approach you for mentor in your mentorship. But I didn't have the other way around. But the community is where I found the right set of people who worked out for me. And when you are very young in career, reach out to your management. There are a lot of people, in upper management who's more than happy to mentor you,
Right.
because they take pride in seeing their mentees doing well, and help you open doors for you and within the company, and giving you more opportunities to grow. So reach out, don't stay back. Reach out to many people, and you can have multiple mentors. So you don't need to just have one. You need to different areas. And if you're in early in career, if you don't know exactly which path to go, find mentors in all, and see how it works, and see whether you can even shadow some of those things. So there are many in upper management is extremely happy to support you.
Yeah.
But reach out.
Yeah, I also had the pleasure of through alumni network, where they say, hey, I'm here to help for free, and you get to ask some questions, right? So I think personally, I participate in like being a mentor for my alum, and kind of share some of the experiences. But I think that's extremely important.
Yeah.
We're always find it so lucky that we get to have some of these great people in our lives that help us through in these difficult times, and they will come, right? So. Yeah, I appreciate that.
And actually, I want to bring up one thing, because I do the judging in Massachusetts engineering and science fair, and this time when to judge, one of the things, I don't know, they gave me astrophysics this time. I don't know why. No, but one of the first person I spoke to, he is in 10th grade. And he's talking about black holes and so many different things, which I told him, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to learn from you, because I don't have the knowledge to judge you in this particular thing, but explain to me what you're doing. I was completely blown off. It was so impressive how thorough he is about what he's talking, and he has data too. So all those stuff. So I asked him, at this stage, how do you get into this? And surprisingly, he said he didn't even have a single physics course till then.
Oh.
He's going to take it in 11th grade.
Oh, wow.
So I said, how do you get that? He happened to, through some friends and all, get in touch with somebody who was working for NASA or somewhere, retired person. So he connected with him. That's how he developed all this knowledge. So again, mentorship doesn't need to be in a company or anywhere. Just reach out to different people the area you are interested in. There are people who's willing to help you to get more into any way you can grow.
Yeah, appreciate that. So important. Even
Very.
Steve Jobs had to go call up for help. Back then it's called to pick up a phone. Now I don't know what people do. Maybe just Instagram. Everybody. Let's switch direction a little bit. I have two more questions left. Women in technology, about empowering women in technology. So the question is, as a woman in a senior leadership role in tech, what advice would you give to other women looking to thrive in an industry where they might be underrepresented? How can the tech community better support diversity and inclusion, particularly for future generations?
The main advice I can give women in tech: be confident. You are good enough. Don't second guess anything. You bring a lot of value to the table, especially with your diversity. And own your knowledge. You are knowledgeable, own it, and be confident. And what you will be facing now will be different than what I faced before. For me, the biggest challenge as a woman in tech is because being a woman. Woman was the biggest thing, because getting approval or buy-in from the team it was difficult. But things are changing. Things has to change because it's important. And find right mentors to push you up. And have a good peer group. And one main thing is support each other. And find an allyship. Allyship important because women, just by interacting with women or you're not going to, that's not good enough, because you are in an environment, you have mix, everybody is there. So having a good allyship, getting the right, from people from the other gender support you is very important. And there are many people who support, because especially even if you look at the management side, or even they may not be women, but they have wife, they have kids, or so they understand the importance of supporting you. But the main thing is reach out and create that support structure. It's very important. And support each other. Don't bring anyone down. Support, because only if your network is good, you'll be good. So that's the main thing. It's like you are good enough. You don't need to emulate anything, or because when I was getting into the leadership, people have a specific idea about how a leader should be, how a leader should look, how a leader should talk. And I tell my kids I have 3 strikes against me in that case. I'm a woman. I'm not from here. I have an accent. And I'm not the typical leader or anybody from here. There's 3 things. Doesn't matter. Once you prove yourself, once you show your worth, people won't even see you as any of those things. You just, a leader. And when you look at people, when you look for people to work for you, or you should do the same. When I went for interviews, many times people ask me, oh my God, we have 50 men. How do you manage 50 men? I don't manage 50 men, I manage 50 engineers. That I know how to do. So, but you cannot change the world in one day. So you will face things like this, it's a unconscious bias is there. Although people say that we are not like that, there is there. Realize it. But doesn't mean that it's something bad. You can overcome it. You don't need to accept it. You can move forward with that. So, but you know what? We have a great thing that going for us. We have great EQ. In leadership, EQ is very important. So don't forget that, and that is not a weakness. That's a great strength. And don't try to emulate how others behave, or because people expect leader to talk aggressively and all that stuff. You don't need to do any of those stuff, at least in my experience. Be good with everybody. When you are saying things to people which is valid, they will listen, because nobody wants to fail, right? Everybody wants to succeed, and if you're hearing good advice or giving good advice, they will all go for it. So I think we bring a lot to the table. as women in tech.
Yeah, that's very much amazing insight there. I want to turn the question a little bit around because for Disruption Lab we also face the same issue. The gender percentage distribution, minority, and all that. How then, from a leadership perspective, retain those talents, and how do you maintain that balance?
We need to give more opportunity for women to come up, because in tech, there is a tendency to overlook women. So as a women leader, I need to make sure that their voice is heard. So sometimes people will be scared to speak up in a big audience. And so when I see that kind of trend, I tell them, hey, you are very quiet separately. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you need to be prepared, and you need to talk. So if you see some people not participating because they are maybe scared, give them an early warning or advice or things like that. Then next time, once they speak up, and I tell the people, not everyone, but the people that I'm comfortable with, that somebody is going to speak and we need support. And that is not just women, the team, because team has to support. So nowadays, they're all doing the same thing. Okay, bring up and call the people on, and thanking them. Even when we have the meeting, thanking, oh, this person did a great job, and things like that. The encouragement that will help give them confidence, and giving them leadership opportunity to lead a team or things like that. It will give them confidence to bring up. So I do things like that in general. It's not just to women, even for others who's not confident. I'll try to bring up.
Right. Even just the fact that it doesn't have to be a gender-driven thing.
No,
it's just
no, it doesn't.
quiet team member or something like that. Yeah, notice that.
Yeah. In one of the companies, actually there was one guy who was very nervous. He won't talk to people because he's extremely nervous, and came to talk to him, and he's extremely knowledgeable. And what I found that he's in a wrong job, because he was in QA. QA is everything is, his personality doesn't fit. And he was very black and white kind of person, so I moved him to compliance.
No.
He thrived.
Perfect, yeah.
He became manager in 6 months because that's his strength, and you're using that in a different. So it depends. It doesn't matter with gender. If somebody is struggling or somebody needs help, we need to bring it up. And for the women case, giving them opportunity, then come up. Then again, from what I think, I don't expect anything because I am a woman. Accept me if you think I'm worth. So that is my policy.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, before we end, any questions from audience? Preemptively, she answered all of your questions. Okay, perfect. Well, Revathi, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. It's been a fascinating conversation about the future of public safety, leadership, and technology's role in creating safer communities. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank all of you for having me. It is an amazing experience. It's great to see and talk to all of you about what you do here. You're getting really, really trained for the real world. It's an amazing opportunity. Use it to the fullest. And remember, disruption is always comes with some kind of discomfort. Again, that again comes with asking the right question and pushing the envelope. So don't be scared. Go for it. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.